It's easy to get carried away living everyday life and just forget to actually enjoy it. As a parent, you've got appointments, work, extracurricular activities, keeping up with school things. You've got to clean the house for the 100th time, of course. You need to make and plan meals. It's never ending, and it's the same thing, day to day, week to week. And that doesn't bring as much joy, does it? Are you feeling any of the exhaustion everybody else seems to be feeling lately? I feel like the word burnout is on everybody's lips. I don't care if you work or not, we're all exhausted and burnt out, me included. Research actually shows that we as human beings are much happier when the things that we do actually take us in the direction of our values. And with that in mind, I thought I would share some easy tips to use for a monthly reset for you, to set some goals just to help you enjoy life and actually stick to those goals so you can actually enjoy life instead of just planning to and never doing it. I know I'm guilty of this. At the beginning of this year, I was like, okay, every month I'm gonna plan at least one fun activity and I'm gonna do it, and this is going to help me have something to look forward to each month so that I'm not depressed at the end of the month wondering where my life is going. I had the best intentions, and I did it for a couple of months, and then life happened and things fell apart. My little pumpkin here, hi, got tumors and seizures developed. He's older, so we've been dealing with that, and you know, I think that that's just a taste of what everybody else deals with in their life. It tends to throw things off the rails. So if you're up for it, let's go on a journey together. Maybe I can do this monthly. Let me know down in the comments below if you'd want me to. And we can kind of do it together, right? We'll keep each other accountable. We have this date, first week of every month. We set these goals, and let's see which ones we can actually follow through on. Will we follow through on all of them? No. Should we set a lot of them? No. I'll set 1 to 2 and then plan accordingly. Let's dive on in. I'm Tanya. I'm a behavior analyst, and I work with parents to help them meet their parenting values and goals with peaceful parenting in order to build stronger relationships with their kids. So to help you on your journey to sticking to your goals and bringing more joy into your life, I have actually created a monthly reset planner. It includes an initial page that reminds you of what a value is, because I know that a lot of the time it can be easy to confuse it with a goal, myself included, and a simple reminder will help you each month as you get back to it. The second page has values versus goals. Don't worry, we're going to go over that in a minute, but this allows you to match up values and goals related to those values. The next page has a monthly planner. This is essential in order to actually be able to plan things and schedule them in around your busy schedule. The next page is a simple checklist so that you can write down each value that you want to work on and then the goals that you decide that you want to work on toward that value. The next page has ideas for the next month. So when you do come back at the end of the month and you look at your goals, you can write down what worked and what didn't work and make plans moving forward on how to help you meet them in the next month. A value isn't something concrete. It's best described as a direction that you go in. The best example I've really heard is that it's the horizon. So you go forward in that direction, never actually reaching it. It's simply a direction that you want to sail toward, such as north, south, east, or west, without a set destination. So you may have goals, and these are kind of the same as a buoy would be. So there might be buoys kind of guiding your way as you sail toward the horizon to keep you headed in the right direction. And that's kind of how they work together, interlinked. So for example, a common value that parents have is to have strong relationships with their children. And if you think about it, that is more like a horizon, right? A direction to guide yourself toward. You're never really going to know, like, okay, I have now reached a strong relationship. I'm there. I don't need to do anything else. That's not going to happen. That's why it's a value. Now, there are certainly goals and things, behaviors that you can engage in to start working toward building a strong relationship with your child. Examples of this might be, as we've discussed, actually scheduling in events to do as a family and actually sticking to it. I think that's the hardest part, and keeping it consistent. One big thing, I mean, my family never did it, but I certainly had friends who would have a family Friday and they would order pizza and play games or watch a movie. Another behavior that you can engage in to build strong relationships with your children is to celebrate both the big and small things that get done, including picking up a room at the end of the day. That can be something that you celebrate. Have a dance party. These are memories that you're making, and it all counts toward working toward that goal of building a strong relationship with your child. And that's just one example that you can use as a value. What are some values that you have as a parent that you would love to work toward, or maybe just strengthen, or sail in the direction of as you parent? Other common values of parents that I've worked with in the past included having a stronger faith and impressing that upon their children. So this included going to church regularly and participating in church functions. There have been other parenting goals related to wanting both of the children to be close and actually like each other, which technically isn't parenting, but it is a family value, right? And some goals that they could put in place were to teach the siblings how to actually problem solve together and work through arguments in a healthy way versus an unhealthy way, how to actually model as parents whenever they do have disagreements, how to do it appropriately in front of the kids. So that's another behavior they could act in to move in the direction of teaching their children how to get along. Another common parenting value is a want to teach their children to be independent. And depending on the child's age, the goals may look different for each family. So for some families, it may be the child simply taking their plate to the sink when they have finished eating. If they're a little bit older, maybe they're helping dry the dishes as you take them out of the dishwasher and put them away, or help you put them away. This might include letting your child pick their outfit for the day, or if you know that they can feed themselves, don't feed them. I see it in all shapes and sizes, and there are a lot of different ways to go with each value. There's so many different goals that you can work on. The main thing is not to overdo it. Literally just pick one or two a month and just work on it once or twice a week, whatever it is you choose and you think you can do. In addition to only picking a couple of things, you want to make sure that whatever you do pick is specific. So it's not really good enough to be like, well, I will plan something to do every Friday. Don't just leave it open-ended like that. You need to specifically choose as many details as possible ahead of time, because that's going to make it easier for you in the long run. As human beings, we tend to engage in behavior that is the easiest to engage in. So the easier we make it for our future selves to actually engage in that behavior and follow through with that goal, the more likely it is that we will. I'm sure you've heard, put out your clothes to work out the night before so the next morning it's less work for you. It's that kind of idea. So if I was planning a family night, I would plan at what time it would happen. I would put it on my husband's calendar so he would be present and accounted for and aware that it was going to happen, and then I would give reminders I would plan out the meal. I would grocery shop for that meal ahead of time. I would plan out the games, or at least have a stack of games literally ready to go. Whatever you can do to make it easier on your future self will thank you. So let's fill mine out really quickly so that you can get a sense of what mine is going to be for this next month of November. And I will revisit it the first week of December and put it up for you as well so that you can follow along and maybe join in. Be great if you do. And we'll go forward. Let me know if you have any questions down below about any of it. I know that it's a little weird. Not everyone is this much of a planner. But I find that if I don't really write it down and set some kind of a schedule, I'm not going to do it. I have completed my planner, so I'm going to share it with you here. That way you can follow along and get some examples. The first page has the 2 values that I've chosen to work toward in November. The first value is to spend quality time with family, and my actual family outside of my husband does not live anywhere near me. So my goal at this time, just simply for the month of November, is to spend one night a week watching a holiday movie with my husband, and actually scheduling it in and spending time with our phones off and away. He's gonna love it. It's gonna be great. The second value that I'd like to work toward is to spend some time with my dogs consistently without my phone and actually focusing on them. I feel like I don't do it for long periods of time. I do it throughout the day, but I'd like to schedule actual time in. I've got one that is 11, the other one that is 8, and I really want to make sure that I make the time that I have left with them count. So I am planning on walking Rex in the mornings, and then when we get back, playing fetch with Max. Max cannot be walked because he is not trained. He is a pooler, and I do know how to train that as a behavior analyst. That's something I know how to do. But unfortunately, he's just so strong that I messed up my shoulder the last time I was trying to do it, just because nothing will work. You can put bacon in front of this dog and he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He wants the squirrel or the person down the street or the smell that's 3 feet away. Just doesn't matter, even if I did it incrementally. But that's a story for another day. So yes, I do fetch with Max outside in the backyard with him. That's fenced in, and he's safe and super happy running as fast as he can. So either way, he loves it. And I plan on doing that, I would say 3 times a week at first. When you're building a new habit, as I'm sure you know, it is good to start out small and then slowly increase it over time if you actually need it. But, you know, if I set a goal for myself for 3 times a week this next month and I don't need it most of the time, then I know that the next time that I decide to work on it, I actually probably need to give myself some grace and decrease the goal. And then as I meet it, I can increase it in the future. I think that's something that a lot of people don't talk about. They just like, okay, well, I didn't meet it, I have to try again. It's like, no, that's a bar that you need to constantly move, because you do need to give yourself grace depending on what's happening in your life or your schedule at that time. So if you know that you haven't met it, you need to meet that some kind of a goal before you can actually raise it. You need to meet yourself where you're at. Find out where you are. We call it a baseline. Next part of the planner is the monthly calendar. So I have filled that in with specific days to actually engage in these behaviors. This is going to help me follow through because they are written in, they are scheduled. Now I can put them in my planner as part of my overall schedule so that I know that they are coming up, and I'm more likely to follow through because they are written in. I've also set specific times for the walk for the dog in the mornings, so I can now, as I wrote in the bottom, set myself an alarm on my phone to go off every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday morning. That way it can prompt me to actually go out with him, especially if I'm feeling lazy or just forgetful. I'm sure you know, sometimes you have so many things going on, you don't have time to remember everything you have to do. So if you set a specific timer for it, you're much more likely to do it. I've also written in specific movies that my husband and I will be watching once a week. I chose Wednesdays just because that is the most convenient day for us. I didn't pick a specific time because we'll just do it, after dinner. So that's not a big deal. We always eat dinner, so it's not hard to schedule in. That's another thing you can do. If you don't want to set an alarm, you need to just set it as part of your routine, and then that way it's just naturally a part of it. The next page is the monthly reset checklist. That I actually won't check off until the end of the month to say whether I completed it or not, but I went ahead and completed it to make future me's life easier, and put in the value and then the target under each value. Oh, sorry, the goal. Target, goal, you know what I mean. And I can also, at the end of the month, choose not to do a check or an X or anything like that. And I may just write the percentage that I met the goal for, because maybe I want to work toward meeting that goal with a higher percentage at the following month if I didn't meet it all the way. So maybe this month I only hit 75%, and I'm like, okay, next month we're going to try for 90, something realistic. Don't be hard on yourself if you don't meet these goals. It's really just all about being mindful of what matters to you and then working your way toward it. So even if you don't meet it all the way, you can look at it at the end of the month and say, wow, amidst all of these other things that I have had to do, regular mundane tasks that I don't like to do, or just things in the schedule that don't really bring you a lot of joy, you can at least say that you have done these few things that do mean a lot to you. And it makes you feel a little better about yourself at the end of the month, or at least it does for me. And then the last page here is ideas for the next month. That's going to be something that I fill out on the reset. Hi. Hello. Little nose here. I will write in what mood I kind of had that was prevalent throughout the month. Did I feel flustered, overwhelmed? Was I maybe excited about something? Do I feel accomplished? Did I feel calm? We can only hope. And then I'll write down what things worked and what didn't work. So did a timer on my phone help me meet my goal or not? Did my calendar reminders work? Did they actually go off and I actually noticed them on my phone enough to do them? Those types of things. And then at the bottom, as you can see, I will write in what goals I met, and I will make goals for the next month. I can either use the same goals at a different level. So again, I might say, hey, I'm going to try to walk the dog twice a week if 3 times a week just wasn't working. Or maybe we only did a movie night twice in the month because of other things happening. I may try to change that goal and say, hey, we're going to at least watch 3 movies during the month. And it could be, any time to try to hit it in one way or another. Or I might just change it completely, and that's okay too. Again, I will say this until I am blue in the face. Do not feel bad if you don't meet them. This is just to help you start being mindful of the things that matter and trying to take some steps toward meeting them. It doesn't matter if it's different every month and you're working on different values every month. What matters is you're working toward your values, because that's what brings you some form of joy, ideally, if you're doing it. If you're not doing it, then you may need to rethink what your goals are and make them more realistic. I definitely used to be an overachiever when I was younger and could do a lot of goals and meet them, but as I've gotten older, I am tired, I am exhausted, my schedule is much more full, as I'm sure yours is, especially with children and families and everything else going on with the holidays coming up. So be kind to yourself, give yourself grace, and just do the little things one at a time. And I will meet you back here the first week of December to do our reset. Take care.